Good morning, it is 7:30 on day 5. My hair's a mess. No, I haven't seen it until now. Right. According to my phone, the temperature is -2 Celsius. I don't think it is. I think it's probably about 0. But that was a cold night. I'm very glad that I got a sleeping bag liner for this trip because I don't think I would have slept without it. Anyway, 19 miles-ish to Fort William. 7:30 in the morning, plenty of time, got to be there by 5:30. Let's have a wee look at what this mist is doing. I'm guessing that's just down to the temperature really. Kind of pretty. Anyways, let's see if the sun comes out. If it does, I need to start taking off clothes because I'm wearing everything that I brought, including my mittens. Well, Loch Lochy this morning is mostly just Loch Foggy. Perhaps as the day goes on, normal lochiness will resume. But, you know, you can see the blue sky there. The sun's just starting to come over that hill. I reckon it's going to be a nice day again. Still bloody cold at the moment, but I'm not cold because I've been walking for a couple of miles, but time to take off some layers. Hopefully I'll end this trip just in a t-shirt, that'd be nice. Anyway, I'm just talking so I don't have to walk, and actually I do have to walk, so onwards. Okay, suitably atmospheric shot where I can ask you please to hit the subscribe button because it helps me stay motivated to actually edit stuff together, and that means there'll be more in the future. And I'm getting better, so they might be a bit higher quality, so cheers guys. It's about 9 o'clock on day 5 and I've been going for 2.5 hours and I can now see the end of Loch Lochy, which is good because I kind of hope to be there by midday. That'll keep me on schedule for my usual rush to get the bus. But yeah, I'm quite glad I could see it. At least now I know where I am. There's been no features that I could use to plot my progress on the map up until now. So good times. Let's see what the bottom bit's got to share. Right, well, that hill you can see a wee bit of obscured by cloud will, I'm fairly certain, be Ben Nevis. So first sight we've really had of that because there's been a lot of cloud in the way. In a really clear day I would have been able to see Ben Nevis from 2 days ago, but it wasn't high enough yesterday and the day before wasn't clear. So anyway, that kind of lets me know that Fort William is not too far away. Well, at this point it's probably about 16-17 miles away, but nonetheless, onwards. Okay, this little patch of woodland here is what's marked on my map as Clunes. Now, I always thought there would be a little bit more to Clunes than some woods, and I'd imagine there probably are some couple of houses up behind in the hills. But signpost here says Gairlochie 4 miles, which is more or less the end of the loch, and then Fort William 15. So 15 to Fort William from here, and I know 12 of that is going to be, well, 11 or 12 of that is going to be pretty much dead flat. It's fine. But yeah, so I'm talking about this because this is actually a pretty neat place to camp about 15 miles out of Fort William if you're heading that way. It's probably, if I'd known it was here, I would probably have pushed on to here yesterday. Would have got here maybe about 6:30. Would have been quite a good time to be here. So yeah, there's a couple down there wild camping. Well, I say wild camping, they've got a car, so they're car camping. each to their own. And yeah, it's nice. Somebody just jogged past me with a dog. Aye, so I'm just going to sit here, have a quick munch, and I'm tempted to make a coffee, but I don't really want to spare the time doing it. So I'll push on to Gearlocky and see what's there. And this is Clunes. I just hadn't quite reached it when I did my last little bit to camera. We actually have a Clunes Forest School, which is cute. And yeah, I did another wee piece to camera there, which was a bit sweary. I thought I'll not actually ever put that actually up and edit it in. So anyway, that little bit I was sat at with the tent and the cars. There's a sign right next to the cars, right next to the one that's been parked overnight, because that's the one that the campers were using, which said no overnight parking. And it was a handmade sign, but about 5 metres from it there was a sign by the Forestry Commission, very official. This is forestry land. They're camped on forestry land. I've walked through forestry land for the last few miles. It's very good that the forestry allow people to camp on their land and allow the trails to go through. They don't have to, but they do. And when they put a sign up saying no overnight camping, or no, they didn't say that at all. That's not what they said. They said no overnight parking. And people park next to the sign overnight. Kind of makes my blood boil a wee bit. Nothing against car camping, right? It gives you a huge amount of versatility. You can go to some marvellous places, and that's kind of the point. If you have the choice, you've got a car, why are you going to park somewhere that says no overnight parking? It doesn't make sense to me. All right, that kind of thing. It just makes landowners, people like the forestry, think, well, okay, well, you know, we asked nicely and people ignored us, so screw you, just don't camp at all. Don't really want that to happen. So, you know, honestly, it just annoys me. Run over. That's a pretty wee bit here. Very quiet, except when there's a car going by. I'm no expert in trees, but some of you will be, so this is one big bastard tree. Let's zoom in a bit. It's got quite unusual bark. So, one of you will hopefully be able to tell me what that is. Another point of local interest, and a new one that was going to crop up round about here, is that during the Second World War the commandos were trained, the whole commando idea, or British commando, I guess we nicked the name from the Dutch or the Boers, but yeah, the British commando ideal started around here in the Great Glen, and this apparently was the area that they used for their boat training, or their kind of amphibious attack training. So you can see a wee beachy bit over there and some shoreline that's quite flat. There's an old building here, and yeah, they used to paddle across the loch. They were told very, very strictly where they had to paddle, because there would be people shooting at them, or shooting just to the sides of them, very, very closely to the sides of them, to give them the impression of being under live fire. So if they went off course, they were probably going to get hit. They weren't using blank ammunition, everything was live. So, kind of hardcore. Nice setting for it. Not too far from here actually, we'll pass the turn off the Speen Bridge where there's a Commando Memorial, which is quite nice, but it is well off the track, so I am not going to go to it today. And there might be a couple of other commando-y type things. I remember when I was a boy, we didn't play cops and robbers or cowboys and Indians or even soldiers. we played Commandos. Don't know why, but that was always the name. So yeah, this is kind of the spiritual home of Commandos. Looks like the sun's trying to break through. That'd be nice if it did. Anyway, a little bit more local history. This is, or would be in normal times, the Museum of the Clan Cameron. Quite a lot of Camerons about. So if you're a Cameron, this is the place to come if you want to learn a wee bit about your history. But I can tell you that during the Jacobite Rebellion, or Bonnie Prince Charlie's Jacobite Rebellion, the Clan Cameron chief, known as Gentle Luckiel, from around these parts, was very much on Bonnie Prince Charlie's side, with quite a lot of his clansmen quite active in that rebellion, which got as far south as Derby, pretty close to London actually, and then turned around and ultimately got defeated. Well, like Culloden and Inverness, so I'm not going to walk back there and show you. But aye, the Gentle Luckiel, can't have been that gentle if he was in a war, although apparently he was a very anti-looting, which might have been a wee bit unusual for the times. But yeah, he fled to France after being hunted for months in Scotland, and yeah, died in exile in France. So there we are. And what may be the last little piece of local history for a while, although who knows. This is a, well, not very good, truth be told, reconstruction of a landing craft, or an LCA landing craft assault, from the Second World War again, and from the commando training. Jumping about in history a wee bit here. But yeah, so this is made out of concrete, obviously. The original would have been made of wood and canvas, apparently. And again, this would have been used for disembarkation practice. There's actually a wee board here that I can show you. So yeah, you know, lots of people getting wet and try to get in the habit of getting out of that boat very quickly, which I suppose would have been quite useful when they were landing on the beaches. But just here as a reminder, they're not very big. I suppose I always thought they were bigger. Anyways, onwards. Well, it's about 11 o'clock on the last day, day 5, and I am in Gairlochie, and there's not very much in Gairlochie. Bugger all, basically, in fact. But we're back in the canal, as you can see. It's just going to be a question of following the canal for 11 miles into Fort William, and because it's just gone 11, I don't need to be there until 5:30. I've got lots of time to do 11 miles. Not worried about it anymore. Just gonna take it easy. Stop here and get myself something to eat. I was kind of running out of stuff to eat, but find something. Tempted to make a coffee. Do you know what? I might make a coffee. I think that's what I'll do. That's a great plan. I'm happy with that plan. Alright, back in a bit. We are with you. So, I stopped for my coffee. Oh, I said so at the start of the video. Oh well, never mind. So, I stopped for my coffee and feeling slightly revitalised. I'm not used to functioning without any caffeine in my system. And just the last 10 miles or so to Fort William. All of it down the canal. Well, there's going to be a river. I can actually see the river for the first time just off to my left. So, river on one side, canal on the other again. Hopefully no weirs that I have to wade through this time, but if I do, I do. It's going to be a bit of a boring stretch, I think. Boring 10 miles into Fort William. That's what it is. It's flat anyway, so, well, flat, very slightly downhill for a bit. Probably won't be much to video. Oh, well, it's the wrong camera for this. But as you can see, the occasional nice view. Not much else to say really. Might have to stick some music on just to get me through the last few miles. Try not to get hit by a cyclist because I can't hear them coming. I guess I'll show you anything if there's anything to show you. Laters. So the hopes for sunshine never really appeared, but never mind. Just try and enjoy some of the views with a little bit of help from Mr. Springsteen and possibly Mr. Ritter, and later on if it gets desperate, Mr. Rose. Good times. Hey folks, it's about 1:30 I think, and I've got 7.5 miles to go, so pretty much on time, which is great. Should get to Fort William certainly before my bus, but not too long, or not too soon. What am I trying to say? English is hard. Not too early so that I have to wait a long time for the bus. Stopped for a bit now because, well, basically my feet are sore. My back was starting to hurt. Been walking for a few miles there without a break, so. What did I want to say? Yeah, timings, right, so, I mean, most of my timings for this trip have been near enough, right enough. You know, I thought, this is where I'm going to get to in this day. It's where I need to be. I'll get there at roughly this time. And it's been wrong by an hour sometimes, but, you know, nothing too much. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. When I did the West Highland Way, I did it because one of the things that I ask people when I'm working with them, a lot of these people are a bit short on hope. And I asked them to write a 20 item bucket list. It's 20 things that they want to do before they die. Because a lot of the things that they say tend to be unattainable. A lot of mine would be unattainable, but some of them are usually manageable. And that gives people a reason basically to be here. Anyway, that's not really what I was going to talk about. What I was going to talk about is a couple of times do the West Highland Way come up in people's list. And because I haven't been able to get abroad this year, I thought, you know, why not? Why not? So I started getting some gear and went. And a lot of the time that I was on the trail, I had really bad imposter syndrome. You're probably familiar with imposter syndrome. It's basically when you don't really think you should be doing what you're doing because you're not qualified to do it. And I didn't think I was qualified to do a long distance hike because I was unfit. And maybe I was a wee bit right there. There's a boat coming by, hopefully the noise isn't too bad. A couple of them actually. But anyways, West Highland Way done. Great Glen Way is easier than the West Highland Way, no doubt about that, and shorter. Not much shorter, but still shorter. Boats is noisy. Anyways, yeah. And doing this, I just kind of come to realise that I've got as much reason to be doing this as anybody else, right? I mean, I was thinking that these people that do long distance walks are another type of person. I don't know what type of person, just another type, not me. And I think a lot of people think that way. They think, oh, I can't do that. I'm not fit, I'm not qualified, I don't have the stuff. That's not who I am. But turns out not to be the case. I always look at people's packs when they go by because I try to work out if they're actually going the whole way or not. And she might be. But anyways, yeah. So what am I rambling about? I'm really just saying that, you know, if you think you're the kind of person that can't possibly do this, can't possibly go for a multi-day hike, you can. You can. I could. It's not all going to be sweetness and light, but the fact that I got home from the West Highland Way and came right out to do this again a few weeks later shows you that there's something to be said for it, certainly. So yeah, that's it. Don't be a victim of imposter syndrome. The other thing I was going to ask, well, the other thing I was going to say, I don't really know when I was going to say it, at some point today, and it might as well be now. This is going to be a long bit, but that's alright. I was going to ask people, what should I do next? Right? I'm probably not going out for another multi-day extravaganza this year, because, well, yeah, it was like -2 this morning, and that's just a wee bit chilly. And I don't really fancy winter hiking. But some people love it, not for me. But aye, so yeah, I don't think I've got enough time off work to do the Camino de Santiago or the Appalachian Trail, much as I'm sure both are great. I'd love to do both of them actually at some point, but it's not going to happen now. I can't see me asking my boss for 4 months off work and getting a positive response. But yeah, any other ideas for walks for maybe spring next year? Stick them in the comments. That would be great. My girlfriend Vanna, she said that I should spend more time talking about history and legends and stuff like that, because I like that kind of thing. So, you know, maybe I should do that. Maybe I should just go and visit some places and tell people the history and stuff, with a wee bit more research than I do for these trips, when I'm usually just trying to remember bits and pieces that I've heard and putting the rest together from information boards. But aye, just rambling. If anybody does have any ideas, please, or suggestions, stick them in the comments. And while you're down there, hit subscribe. Not because I think I'm going to get rich off of YouTube. I'm not. I need like 1,000 subscribers before they even give me anything at all, which is never going to happen, frankly. But more because seeing the subscriber number go up makes me happier to put in the time that it takes to edit all this stuff together and process it and get it on YouTube. It's a long-winded process. And yeah, you know, if I'm sitting looking at 20 odd subscribers, I'm thinking, is it really worth it? So, aye, if you don't mind, if you're watching this, if you haven't fallen asleep listening to me whittering shite, hit the red button. I'd appreciate it. It makes me know you're out there. Anyway, cheers. I suppose I better get back in the trail. These 7.5 miles ain't going to walk themselves. Take it easy. Hey folks, so this is the Moy swing bridge. Not that different from any other swing bridge, except for the fact that it's the only one that's the original cast iron structure from when the canal was built. And the reason for that, most likely, is because it's only ever used for farm traffic. Some coos over there, and I'm guessing the farmer doesn't use it very often. It's also a little bit unusual in that in order to actually operate it, it needs to be done by hand on one side, and then the lockkeeper gets in that boat, rows over to those steps, and does the other side. So yeah, kind of old worldy. I'm guessing, as I say, it doesn't get used that often. It would be quite funny, I suppose, if the farmer just decided to use it and be a bit of a dick and say, oh sorry, I forgot my cigarettes, need to go back. We have a horse. So yeah, Moy. Hey, so this is Neptune's Staircase, which is the single greatest rise in the canal level along its length. It takes about an hour and a half for a boat to get from top to bottom, or bottom to top. Yeah, I can't even count how many walks there actually are. I haven't walked down them yet. At the moment it kind of feels like it's taking me about an hour and a half to walk anywhere as well. But in the distance, centre shot behind that lamppost, you can see Loch Linney, which is the sea. So that tells me that I'm very nearly at the finish line. I think it's 4 miles to go from here. Neptune Staircase still, and I just passed a wee cafe, actually the first place of business that I've seen open since Port Augustus early yesterday morning. So it's not been a whole hell of a lot, but they did sell very, very good coffee, just here, so if you're passing Neptune Staircase, I would recommend. Possibly because the last decent cup of coffee I had was in Vermorston. When was that? 2 days ago? Yeah. I've made myself a couple of cups, but I tend to go more for, shall we say, high octane rather than balance of flavour. So this is welcome. I can tell her how good her coffee is, but I just can't face going back. It's only 100 yards. Still can't face it. 4 miles to go. Or something. Plenty of time to do it. Sit here, have a coffee, have a cigarette, maybe dig out something else to eat, I don't know. And I want chocolate. I haven't got any chocolate. I've eaten all the chocolate. Ugh. I'll find something. Anyway, not too much longer to go. Then the bus station at Fort William again. Anyways. I am basically in Fort William now, but the trail kinda sends me off around in a bit of a loop back out of Fort William and then back into Fort William again. If I was really pushed for time, I could just skip a couple of miles and head into town, but that would be cheating, and I guess I have to follow the canal until it hits the sea and then back into Fort William again. Got the time, and I'd only spend it sitting about at the bus station watching the clock, so I might as well spend it walking, although my feet don't really feel that way right at this point in time. But anyway, I'm going to do the full length, so let's see where we go. It seems to be written into the code of the Great Glen Way that you have to at least take a photograph or a bit of video of this particular boat. I don't know why that's the case, but who am I to break with tradition? So, even after a 20-mile day, I've taken a slight detour to Inverlochy Castle, because it wasn't very far off the path. Was at one point a stronghold of the Commons, which, if you know your Scottish history, you'll know that Robert the Bruce murdered John Comyn in a church, which was frowned upon, sparking a bit of a civil war at the time, which Bruce won. And in 1307 he came here to Inverlochy Castle and took it, and presumably killed some more Commons. And since then it's been attacked and sacked more than once. Obviously not much left of it now, but yeah, a lot of history. It seemed a shame to not stick an extra 3/4 of a mile onto the journey just to have a wee look around. Anyway, unlike Urquhart Castle, it's free. Well, finally, after 75 miles in 5 days. Oh god, I can't stand straight without the pack on. Yeah, today was 20 miles, 30 kilometres. My feet are done, my legs are done. Now I'm going to go to the bus and wait for a while. Try and stay awake. Happy days, I'll be glad to get home. I'm also glad that's done, but yeah. Very different to the West Highland Way. You can't really compare the two. I know people are going to ask me to, but you You know what, fuck it, it's done. Home.